Welcome to A Comic a Day, and this month we are celebrating the birth month of my favorite comic book company, Aftershock Comics. They turned 2 this year, and my god has it been an absolutely brilliant 2 years since. But you'll see what I mean this month. As always, links to buy these comics are in the description, and become a patron to help support the Comic Archivist family of channels. Warning, massive spoilers are massive this month. On with the show. Second Sight number 3. We kick off right where the last left off, with Ray now in the mind of one of the 3 people beating the ever-loving snot out of a bound Carl. They're asking if he knows where the evidence from Millicent's apartment is, but Carl knows he's dead either way, so he's actually fairly content with not telling them anything. And since the lead dick in the balaclava is annoyed, they kill him. Ray, coming out of the vision, calls the only person he knows that would believe him in the police department, or former police department, retired Detective Callahan. Detective Sergeant Temple meets with Callahan late for lunch, since Callahan is trying to get her to at least meet with Ray about his visions to help against the Wednesday Club. Well, Temple has absolutely no care for the paranormal, but Ray comes in and sits down, saying sorry he was late. Then he gives Temple the information about Carl and where to find his body, and she goes to check it out with a nice thread about gold-plating his bollocks if he's lying. We follow Temple and another cop to check out the location, finding Carl's body before Superintendent Deacon comes in to give him a bit of a ball bust. Temple is now sure the Wednesday Club is real, but Deacon merely brings up that Callahan may be her godfather, but he's made some terrible mistakes that she shouldn't follow after. Then we hop over to Ray going to Tony's house since her mother and stepdad are out for the day. Tony tries to talk Ray into taking the shrooms again to see if they can track down the guys, but Ray says that he can only do it while a murder is taking place or if there's an urge of murder, so they'll have to wait. Tony asks why Ray has these visions since her mom had the same shrooms, but Ray doesn't know. He knows that for years though, he still has been having flashbacks and quick moments of being visited by the Reaper. The Reaper is a leather-clad creep with the Cynthia hair, but unlike every other serial killer, the Reaper knew that Ray was there, even talked to him directly. Yet none of the visions help him find him. But the Reaper would play some serious hardcore porn while on his murders, and since it was illegal in the UK in the 90s, well, that actually sort of explains some of the sick kinks that I know Londoners to have. He started going down to the deep, dingy alleyway stores in Soho to find where the Reaper got the porn. At one particular conveyor of erotica, Ray pushes his luck asking basically for snuff films before being thrown out the back door. However, it's a bit fortuitous since a man, who seriously looks like Gunther Meisner as Slugworth from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, known as Mr. Snuff, was there to ask Ray about joining his mysterious club, where they share illicit materials. But since Ray couldn't reciprocate bringing anything of his own, Mr. Snuff got wise to him and started leaving him alone. Ray did relay all this information he got on Mr. Snuff to Callahan, but Callahan tells Ray to leave Snuff alone since there's another investigation going on there. Ray brings up to Tony that maybe the club that Mr. Snuff was trying to get Ray to join back then was in fact the Wednesday Club, since the 90s were a hell of a time for rape and violence. Tony tells Ray to call Callahan to get the information. Well, Callahan then calls Temple to get the information, but she's not very happy about it. And over her shoulder, Superintendent Deacon watches. So Ray eventually does get the name and address for Mr. Snuff. He and Tony take the bus to go see him, though Tony really wishes that Ray would get a car, since the bus trip is pretty pricey. But to close off this issue, Mr. Snuff hobbles his way to the door of his pretty nice estate, only to be met with Superintendent Deacon. Dun dun dun! I'm not too sure what I want to say about this issue. I mean, there's not really anything bad here, and it's a fantastic continuation of the investigation, as well as fluidly giving us connections between characters and events. Though I will say maybe having the final full page be Deacon at the door going, "Long time no see," may have been a bit too forward considering. But that is where this story really does thrive. It has a solid, well thought out plot that goes forward while we get more information about the past. Be it a passing on Callahan being Temple's godfather, or having Ray realize that maybe he was getting close to the Wednesday Club while he was investigating the Reaper. Though that one's more of a plot point than just some interaction-based exposition. And honestly, since I'm just really interested to see where this story goes, come back tomorrow as we continue this epic ride. Oh, and I totally called Deacon being potentially evil. Maybe he's showing up and Snuff was just his granddad. I doubt it, totally innocent, but find out tomorrow. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other 2 channels, Comic Archivist and ComicSins. Become a patron to get to choose the next comics we do for a comic a day. And as always, stay golden, Inklings.
Psycho killer on the loose again, demented brain in constant pain.